Miami Dolphins already employ one former Dallas Cowboys cornerback in Byron Jones. There's that connection. Is there going to be another one? Mike Fisher in Frisco, home of the Dallas Cowboys, where the Dolphins have themselves a problem with the other cornerback, who's also a Pro Bowl caliber guy, and Xavien Howard. He, standout player, did not show up for the mandatory minicamp. The head coach of Miami, Brian Flores, confirming the suspicion that the absence is indeed related to Howard's displeasure with his contract situation. He can get fined, by the way, $93,000. I think is the fine for skipping minicamp. Fine for every day of training camp he fails to report. Now, when the guy eventually shows up and gets his new contract, if that's what happens, teams almost always say goodbye to those fines. So maybe this will work out. But right now in Miami, there is not a workout vibe. And my friend Alain Poupart writes at Sports Illustrated with the Dolphins, this is a volatile situation. And then my guy goes around to a bunch of correspondents for Sports Illustrated like myself to say, is there a match in your city? So he surveys a bunch of us. And not unlike what's really hot right now on YouTube, which is, here's a Kristaps Porzingis trade that could happen, where the writers just kind of, and that's okay, we're just kind of making up our own ideas, but we need to separate that from, it could happen, it's my idea, versus I've talked to the team about this and they say X. While this is a fun idea for us to discuss, you want to know the straight dope. Here's the Cowboys' position on adding any cornerback. Not only Howard from Miami, where you'd have to obviously give up maybe something premium and give him money, but also, as we've discussed here, they haven't made any movement towards Richard Sherman. They never made any movement towards anybody of that ilk. So here's what's going on with the Cowboys at cornerback and all the gossip about some big acquisition. They have convinced themselves, the Cowboys have, right or wrong, Dan Quinn leading this, along with Will McClay, that with young Trayvon Diggs on one side, with competition led by the savvy veteran Anthony Brown, friend of the show, on the other side, Kelvin Joseph, learning to get serious about football, Nahshon Wright, continuing to develop very quickly. There's been a fast learning curve for him so far, the 6'4" Oregon State product, that they don't have to spend anything more there. They think that between that group and then obviously Jordan Lewis in the slot, that they have their answers. Now, get to Oxnard and discover they're wrong, and then maybe Dan Quinn calls his buddy Richard Sherman. Then maybe McCarthy, the Joneses, Dan Quinn, and Will McClay sit down and say, let's reevaluate this. Our cornerbacks are bad. But there's no reason to think that's going to happen. There's no reason for us to think that's going to happen now, and there certainly isn't any reason for them to think that's going to happen then. So will their faith in what they already have be rewarded? We'll see in Oxnard. And by the way, of course, I'll be in Oxnard the entire time, and we'll be in Arizona, and we'll be in Tampa, the whole thing, as you know. And we'll have eyeballs on it, and so will McClay, and so will the Joneses, and so will McCarthy, and so will Dan Quinn. But if there is a trigger to be pulled, it will almost certainly not be a blockbuster cornerback trade. It'll be finding a scrap heap cornerback, which, by the way, as we speak right now, that's where Richard Sherman is. Unemployed, in his 30s, scrap heaping it. And that would be, I think, the move to look for if the Cowboys have some calamity at Oxnard. Not a big trade for Howard. And if you're a Cowboy fan, frankly, as much as you're attracted to the idea of Richard Sherman, I'm sure you're hoping there is no calamity. Wouldn't it be great if the guys they already have in-house are indeed the answers? Fish out.